I died because of bullying at school. The gods felt sorry for me and let me live again. They also said they would give me a gift. Do you want to be wise, beautiful, or wealthy? I replied, I seek the strength of a bear. When I woke up in the hospital bed and saw my mother's face, which was covered with tears and looked tired, I thought it was just a dream. But then I touched the strong, iron-like muscles on my arm. It's so hard. It's real. Mom was wrong. Ava, I'll transfer you to a new school right away. My mother was crying uncontrollably. Don't worry. I'll ask anyone I need to. I'll never let you go to that school again. Even if it means I have to lose face. It's okay. I suddenly felt that the school wasn't entirely wrong. My mother froze. She said, but, didn't you say some classmates were always bullying you? And this time you fell out the window, wasn't that? We were just playing around. I fell by accident, I said. My mother looked skeptical, so I told her, look, I'm fine now, right? Also, it's just a small disagreement with a few classmates. I can handle it myself. You have the night shift tonight, right? Go quickly, or you'll lose your wages if you're late. After I sent my mother away, I got out of bed to stretch. I did a few leg kicks. It was unbelievable. Even though my body was covered in bruises, I didn't feel any pain. Instead, I felt light and full of energy. I picked up the stainless steel 4-pole by the bed and tried to bend it a little. The pole bent. Thank God, I'm going back to get revenge. 3 days later, I went back to class 3, grade 2 at Hamilton High School. The first class was math. After class, Sophia walked over to my desk. I thought she would come over. She was always the one in charge. Ava, what did you tell your mom? She whispered. You fell on your own. No one forced you to do it. Do you understand? If you dare to say anything, you're dead. I ignored her and continued organizing my books. She pointed her finger at me and pressed hard against my head. Did you hear me? When I still didn't respond, she got really mad and hit my head over and over, even harder. I'm talking to you. Ava, what's wrong? Did you fall and hit your head? To be honest, being poked like that did hurt, but I had long since grown accustomed to the pain. It was just a small problem. In the past, I would have put up with it without saying anything, but I was tired of it, and I wasn't going to put up with it anymore. I suddenly stood up, pointed my right index finger at her, and hit her hard in the forehead. She took a step back, lost her balance, and fell to the ground. For a moment, she just stared blankly at the ground. Then, she covers her head with her arms and screams, Ava, are you crazy? My head hurts so much. You really confused me. You're just complaining. I smiled at her. I was just messing around with you. Why are you so sensitive? After that, I poked her head again. This time I used a little less force, but it still made her head jerk. This time she couldn't even speak. She was just holding her head tightly and glaring at me. Tears were welling up in her eyes. People cry when they're in a lot of pain. I knew that. I told you. You poked me 7 or 8 times, and I only poked you back twice. Why can't you take it? Go back to your seat. Class is about to start. She got up from the ground, tears streaming down her face, muttered, You wait, and stumbled back to her seat. The whole class went quiet. I knew everyone was staring at me. My heart was beating quickly, and I felt a mix of excitement and anticipation. Is this what revenge feels like? It's amazing. During lunch break, I went with the other students to the cafeteria to eat. I had just finished eating when Isabella and her group came over, with Sophia following behind. I knew she was going to tell Isabella about me. Isabella was a year older than us and the leader of the group that bullied me. She came over and flipped my tray over. Luckily, I dodged in time and didn't get food all over me, though a corner of my shirt was splattered with oil. Oh, you think you're tough now? Ava, you fell and didn't die. I guess you must have hit your head and lost your mind. You're the one without a brain, I said. You're not just stupid, you're also a coward. How pitiful. Isabella's face turned red right away. She was very pretty, with fair skin, and often bragged about being the school beauty. She weighed less than 90 pounds, so her chest was flat. She didn't like it when people called her flat-chested. I raised my voice so that everyone in the cafeteria could hear. Isabella screamed and tried to slap me, but I was ready. I grabbed her arm and pulled her to the side. Then I pushed her hard, and she fell to the ground. Oh, and there was the food she had just knocked over, now all over her face and clothes. I stood up and smiled at her. Isabella, you're so clumsy. Aren't you afraid you'll completely flatten your already flat chest? I could barely hear people whispering and laughing, but I kept quiet. Yes, Isabella was always arrogant and bullied her classmates. Many people disliked her, but no one dared to say anything. I was determined to stand up to her. I was going to embarrass her in front of everyone and make her the joke of the school. I was going to make her lose everything, unable to live or die. She did the same thing to me as she had before. Isabella's face contorted into a nasty smile, and her cheeks turned purple. She jumped up and tried to hit me again. I had planned to knock her to the ground again, but I saw a teacher coming up behind her. I didn't move out of the way, so I took the hit right in the face. She tried to hit me again, but the teacher had already reached us. Stop, stop, what's going on? How could you fight in public? I said. Teacher. She knocked over my tray and slapped me. I didn't even hit her back. No, she did, Isabella said. She hit me first. The teacher looked at Isabella, who was covered in soup, then at the red handprint on my face, and immediately started to mediate. Enough, enough. It takes two to tango. Both of you should apologize to each other to settle things. No more trouble. I understand, teacher. I looked at Isabella and said, I'm sorry. I shouldn't have called you a flat-chested girl. I'm sorry. The teacher nodded and turned to Isabella. You should apologize, too. Isabella was so angry that her nose was crooked, but with the teacher there, she dared not hit me again. She hit me first. She pushed me. It's all her fault. Why should I apologize? She argued. The teacher, embarrassed in front of everyone, looked upset. What grade and class are you in? What's your name? I can't handle this. Go call your homeroom teacher. Isabella tried to say more, but the other girls pulled her back. Teacher, I'm sorry. Isabella didn't mean it. She was just too angry. Ava intentionally spilled the food on her. The girl said in a sweet voice, Can I take her back to the dorm to change her clothes first? The girl who spoke was Olivia, Isabella's best friend. Among this group, she was the smartest and also the meanest. Many of the ways they bullied me came from her. The teacher had wanted to settle the matter peacefully, and now she took the opportunity to back down. Okay, go ahead. Everyone else, get out of here quickly. Olivia pulled Isabella away, and the others left, but I knew this wasn't over yet. Isabella had never been humiliated like this before. She wouldn't just let it go. She would find a way to get revenge, and she would want to torture me tenfold, 100-fold, to tear me to pieces. I felt the same way. This was just the beginning. After lunch, I went back to the classroom. My classmates stayed away from me. They never paid much attention to me before, but today was different. They avoided eye contact with me, but I saw them looking at me. I even heard a girl behind me whisper to her desk mate, Did you hear? Ava really lost it. She got into a fight with Isabella at lunch. I turned around and looked at her, not saying a word, which made her stop talking right away. Ugh, boring. The afternoon classes went by fast, and before I knew it, the bell rang for dismissal. My classmates hurriedly packed their bags and left, moving as if they were on fire. I deliberately took my time putting my books and notebooks into my bag one by one. By the time I finished packing, the classroom was empty. I put my backpack on and walked out of the classroom. As soon as I left school, I saw some dark shapes standing at the corner of the street. I had heard that Isabella had a lot of friends outside of school and knew a lot of troublemakers. I had already guessed she would go find those people to deal with me. I acted like I didn't see it and walked casually into an alley near the school. The alley was quiet and had no cameras. I had deliberately chosen this route. Two young men dressed in a rough way soon blocked my path. As I had expected, a third figure appeared at the entrance of the alley, blocking my way. Are you Ava, the leader? A young man with yellow hair asked. I said, No, you've got the wrong person. The young man with yellow hair smiled in a sexual way, showing a mouth full of rotten teeth, and said, Little sister, don't lie to me. I suggest you listen to your older brother. Otherwise, I was getting impatient. His lines were very predictable. Was this like something you'd see on a cheesy TV drama? I said, Can you go faster? I need to get home to do my homework. The young man with blonde hair got angry. He said, I see you're not taking the hint. Don't blame me for being so direct. I'll teach you a lesson today. He came closer to me, looking angry. I took off my backpack and held it in one hand. It was filled with high school textbooks, weighing at least 20 pounds, perfect as a weapon. My heart was beating fast, and I felt nervous and excited. It was time to see what power the gods had given me. I swung the backpack and hit Huang Mao in the face. There was a loud bang. and before I could react, I saw the blonde-haired bully's body fly through the air and crash heavily into the trash bin at the end of the alley. Oh yeah, that felt good. I told the other two, you two aren't wasting your time. Do you want to come one at a time, or all together? The two thugs were shocked and couldn't move. Since they weren't coming over, I had to take the initiative. I ran forward, swung my backpack, and hit both of them in the face with it. They fell into the trash cans at the other end of the alley. There they lay, neatly arranged in the trash cans. Perfect. But I wasn't going to let the three of them get away that easily. To be honest, if the roles were reversed, would they have let me off so easily? No, they wouldn't have. I wasn't going to let them off the hook either. Today, I was going to make them experience what it's like to be bullied. Thank you, God, for giving me this power, I thought to myself. Today, I was going to get rid of these pests, so I took the three of them out of the trash bin again. The man with blonde hair was badly beaten, but he was still strong enough to curse. I kicked him again on the leg. I might not have controlled my strength well. I used a bit too much force, and I broke his leg. He immediately screamed. I pretended to kick him again, and he immediately stopped talking. I asked, "What do you three want from me?" The three thugs looked at each other, and finally the blonde one said, "It's a misunderstanding. It's all a misunderstanding. We didn't recognize your greatness. Sister, heroine, please spare us." I said, "If you want me to let you go, it's actually very simple. Each of you must slap the other 100 times. You slap him, he slaps you back, and then he slaps you again. Once you're done, you can leave." The three thugs looked at each other again. I said, "None of you are going to move? Are you waiting for me to start?" Soon, the sound of slapping echoed through the alley. Louder. I sat next to them, cracking sunflower seeds and saying, "Put some effort into it. Didn't you eat today? I'm telling you, whoever doesn't swell someone else's face will get an extra 20 slaps from me." The slapping grew louder. Finally, 300 slaps fell like a curtain closing. I looked at the three people in front of me, their faces swollen like pigs, and clapped my hands in satisfaction. "Okay, everyone, take out your phones," I said. The three of them pulled out their phones, looking sad. I looked through them and found Isabella's WhatsApp on the blonde guy's phone, along with their chat history. Isabella had secretly taken a photo of me and sent it to the blonde guy. She told him to take good care of me and take some more photos. I spat. "That's gross." I took a quick picture of the three of them with their swollen faces and sent it to Isabella. Then I broke their phones in half. I put the three phones on top of each other and broke them in half. The three thugs stared at me in shock, clearly too scared to even care about their phones. I said, "That's enough. Don't ever come back. Get out of here." The three thugs staggered away, holding on to each other for support. When I got home, it was almost dark. As soon as I opened the door, I saw my mother moving around in the kitchen. "Ava, is that you?" she asked. "Why are you late? The food has gone cold." I said, "I stayed after school to talk with my classmates and didn't realize how late it was." My mother smiled. "Oh, you silly child. Hurry up and eat." I sat down at the small dining table and watched my mother quickly serve several plates of stir-fried dishes. The dishes were still warm. They had chili peppers, fried pork, and braised eggplant in them. They weren't fancy food, but I loved them all. Suddenly, my eyes stung, and tears began to flow. "What's wrong, Ava?" my mother asked urgently. "Why are you crying?" "Nothing," I said. "The chili is too spicy. Eat more slowly," my mother said. "Take your time. If you want more, there's more in the pot. I have to go to my night shift." I nodded. "Okay, go ahead. Be careful on your way." I watched my mother go away. I decided that I would appreciate my new life. I would solve the bullying problem and also live my life to the fullest. After I ate, I sat down at my desk and opened my textbook to study. There was only 1 week left before the midterm exams, and I had to catch up on the lessons I missed while I was in the hospital. Shinger, I've always done well in school, and studying is pretty easy for me. I understood how important education was when I was young. Our family was going through hard times, and I knew that getting an education was the only way I could improve my situation. So, I dedicated all my time and effort to my studies. This made it hard for me to make close friends growing up, and my relationships with classmates were not very deep. This continued even after I entered high school. I thought it was because I had no friends that they chose me. I've thought about it many times before. I've never bothered them. So why are they picking on me? Is it because I don't have any friends? Is it because I'm introverted? I don't know how to make teachers like me. Or is it because my family is poor and my parents are divorced? Or is it because I'm not attractive? What did I do wrong? None of that is true. Now I finally understand that they picked on me not because I did anything wrong. They are the ones who are wrong. Now it's time for them to face the consequences. The next day, I arrived at school early. The whole day passed quietly, with no one bothering me. I decided to take the initiative. After school, I went up to Sophia. Sophia, I have something to ask you, I said. Sophia jumped in surprise, looking around quickly for someone to help her. But just as no one had come to my aid when they bullied me, no one came to her aid now. What do you want? Sophia asked, sounding nervous. I asked, what are you afraid of? I'm not going to eat you. She looked even more frightened. I asked her, where's Isabella? Didn't she come to school today? No, Sophia quickly replied. She said she wasn't feeling well. Really? I asked in earnest. Sophia shivered when she saw me looking at her. I heard, Isabella has upset some local criminals. Sophia whispered. She hasn't gone out in a while. She seems to owe them a lot of money. She even borrowed $300 from me. I couldn't help but laugh. It was just like I had imagined. Those 3 criminals had suffered a big loss because of me. They wouldn't let Isabella off the hook. At the very least, they'd make her pay dearly. What about Olivia? I asked. Did Isabella borrow money from her, too? Sophia nodded and said, yes, she did. I heard it was $500. I knew Olivia's family was not very well off. Lending Isabella that much money would make her life very difficult. Isabella said it was a loan, but it was really an attempt to force her to pay it back. This could cause a problem between Isabella and Olivia. I turned to Sophia. It's okay, you can go now. Sophia sighed in relief and hurriedly said, you mustn't tell anyone else, especially not that I told you. Otherwise, I'll be in big trouble. I nodded. She took a few steps before stopping and turning back to me, looking a little nervous. Ava, I didn't mean to bully you. It was Isabella's idea. You know how she is. If I didn't listen to her, she'd come after me. I looked at her, but I didn't say anything. I had always known that Sophia wasn't inherently evil. She was just scared, foolish, and easily influenced, which is why she ended up being their puppet. Ava, I'm sorry, Sophia said quietly. I didn't accept her apology. She said she was sorry, but I knew that if Isabella told her to do something tomorrow, she'd do it without question. I said, Sophia, if you really think you did something wrong, you should make a change and cut ties with Isabella. Otherwise, no matter how many times you say you're sorry, you're just lying to yourself. Think about it carefully. After saying that, I left Sophia, who was lost in thought, and walked away confidently. Sophia's apology gave me an idea. For the next few days, I'd study hard and go to class regularly. Then, after school, I'd ask Isabella to go with me to talk to a classmate who had bullied me. I didn't mean to hurt them. I just wanted to show them that I was strong enough to stand up for myself and that I wouldn't put up with any more abuse. Isabella couldn't help them now. Even if she came back, there would still be times when they were alone. Many of them admitted their mistakes and apologized. They said that they would not work with Isabella again. Some people refused to believe it, cursing and spouting nonsense. For people like that, I thought they needed to show a little strength. I broke their phones. I wasn't worried about them telling the teachers or their parents. First, my heart-to-heart talks with them always took place in secluded alleys with no one around and no surveillance cameras. Second, our high school theoretically doesn't allow phones. Teachers say that high school students should focus on studying. They think phones waste time and make it hard to focus on schoolwork. So, I was actually helping them. Third, who would believe that a girl like me, who weighs less than 80 pounds and can't even lift a chicken, could break a cell phone with my bare hands? A week went by quickly. It was time for the midterm exams. I did very well on this test. Maybe it was because I was thinking differently, or maybe it was because I wasn't as bothered by Isabella and her group anymore, but I was finally able to focus on studying. I got a 5th place grade in the class, and I made it into the top 50 students in the school. When the exam results were announced, my classmates and teachers treated me differently. I realized that this was what my life in high school was supposed to be like. But Isabella and her friends had taken that life from me from the start. I became even more determined. I have to take back my life. I saw Isabella again on campus not long after the midterm exams. It looked like she had figured out a way to deal with those few troublemakers. I wonder how she did it. I heard that her father is a rich and powerful real estate developer, so maybe he spoke up for her, but she will soon see that the school is not the same as when she left. The followers who used to follow her every command now grew cold toward her. They even tried to avoid her. The popular queen of the school had become a lonely outcast, shunned by everyone. I'm sure that must have been unbearable. Now, Isabella was left alone, with only Olivia, her traitorous advisor, by her side. But I know she won't learn from this, nor will she think about her actions. Her life has been easy from the time she was a child until now. She's used to winning, and Yenyu will never accept losing. She won't give up easily. She'll come after me again. She and Olivia won't let me forget it. Let them come. This time, I'm ready. That afternoon, as soon as I returned to the classroom, my homeroom teacher, Mr. Anderson, called me to the teacher's office. As I expected, I saw Isabella and Olivia in the office, along with another middle-aged female teacher. That must be Isabella's homeroom teacher, Ms. Davis. There were several other teachers in the office, each sitting at their desk and busy with their own work. The atmosphere was very quiet. I smiled and said hello to Isabella, but she looked at me angrily. Mr. Anderson looked at me without any emotion, then turned to Isabella and said, "Go ahead." Isabella started talking. She said that this morning when she came to school, she had brought a necklace from a certain luxury brand. She had put it on her desk, but when she came back after lunch, it was gone. Olivia said that during recess, she saw me go up to Isabella's desk. I couldn't help but laugh. I said, "Isabella, the school strictly prohibits students from wearing jewelry. How could you bring such an expensive necklace to school?" Isabella glared angrily at me. "Don't change the subject. Ava, did you steal my necklace?" I stayed calm and didn't rush to defend myself. The two teachers also seemed reluctant to get involved. This made Isabella even more anxious. "Teacher, my necklace was bought by my mom in Europe. It's very expensive," she said. "Then call the police," I said. When someone said call the police, both teachers looked upset. It was clear that they didn't want this to get worse and involve the police. "That's silly," said Davis, Isabella's teacher. "Don't call the police," Olivia quickly said. "Ava, if you want to prove you're innocent, just hand over your backpack, and we'll search it." "Exactly," Isabella said. "Ava, if you say you didn't steal my necklace, then bring your backpack so we can search it." I smiled at her and said, "What if I hid the necklace somewhere else? Even if you search my backpack, it won't prove that I didn't steal it. After all, who would put stolen things in their own backpack? That's just too stupid." Isabella didn't know what to say and was angry. She said, "Are you going to let us search your backpack or not? If you don't, it means you have something to hide." I said, "There are so many of us. Why should we only search my backpack?" "Olivia, did you see me looking in her backpack?" Isabella said quickly. I had been waiting for her to say that. I said, "That's strange. Olivia, if you saw me searching Isabella's backpack, why didn't you stop me?" Olivia's face went dark, but she didn't rush to explain. She said calmly, "I just saw you standing near Isabella's desk, but I didn't know you were searching her backpack." I asked again. During lunch break, everyone went to eat. "Why didn't you go?" Olivia replied calmly, "I wasn't feeling well, so I stayed in the classroom to rest." I laughed and said, "So that means you had the chance to steal the necklace too? Maybe you stole it yourself and framed me?" Olivia stayed calm. "Ava, if you didn't steal the necklace, why won't you let us look in your backpack?" I said, "You want to search my things just based on your word? What if it's not in my backpack? Will you look for something on my body? Take off my clothes?" "I think we should call the police. At least they can settle this fairly." Olivia bit her lip and didn't say anything. The homeroom teacher, Mr. Anderson, finally spoke up. "Ava, give me your backpack so we can search it. If it's not in there, we'll settle the matter. The innocent will be cleared. No further proof is needed." I thought about it and decided, "Teacher, I'm okay with you searching my backpack, but it isn't fair to search only one person's bag." Since Olivia was also in the classroom at lunchtime, her bag should be searched too. Before Olivia could answer, Isabella suddenly said, "Search it, soon." Olivia's and my backpacks were taken into the office. I opened my backpack and threw everything out onto the ground, saying, "Go ahead and search." The two teachers searched thoroughly, but they had to admit that there was no necklace in the backpack. Isabella was still having a hard time. "This is impossible. It must be here," I said. "Why don't you check Olivia's bag again?" By this point, Olivia's face had turned pale. She had probably already guessed what was going to happen. The teacher opened Olivia's bag, and there it was, the necklace, shining brightly in the outer compartment, looking very expensive. I pretended to be shocked and said, "Oh my goodness, this is really the thief crying catch the thief." Both teachers looked furious, especially Isabella's homeroom teacher, Mr. Davis, whose face was as red as a tomato. Olivia bit her lip and didn't say anything, while Isabella was genuinely surprised. "How could this happen?" Isabella said quietly. "Ava, you did this. It must be you." "You." I interrupted him. "Teacher, if there's nothing else, I'll go back to class." The homeroom teacher, Anderson, nodded. I turned and left. I walked slowly, and as I left the office, I heard my homeroom teacher say to Isabella's homeroom teacher behind me, "Davis, what should we do about this?" Back in the classroom, I quietly gave Sophia an okay sign. Yes, I had already known that Isabella and Olivia had planned to trick me by putting the necklace on me. They wanted Sophia to put the necklace in my backpack. After thinking about it a lot, Sophia finally told me the whole plan. In the last week, many others who did not approve of Isabella and Olivia's actions also spoke up and said that they supported them. Thanks to their help, I was able to put the necklace into Olivia's backpack and trick her. After this incident, Olivia's good days were over. I soon heard that both Olivia and Isabella had been called to the principal's office. Isabella's parents just gave her a little scolding, but Olivia's parents were different. Her parents were factory workers who didn't listen to her. They immediately started beating her. If it weren't for the teacher stepping in, she might have been badly hurt. During the whole incident, Isabella didn't say a word to defend herself. Sophia told me that Isabella blamed Olivia. Isabella said it was Olivia's fault for coming up with the bad plan. This led to Olivia being called to the principal's office. After that, Olivia and Isabella officially broke up. I was surprised when Olivia came to me on her own not long after. Olivia's face was still bruised. She wasn't very tall, skinny, and petite. She was the type of person who would blend into a crowd and be easy to miss. If she hadn't been with Isabella, people probably wouldn't have noticed her. I didn't like the way she looked at me. She looked calm, but also like she was thinking hard. I asked her, "What do you want from me?" Olivia replied, "Ava, I know you hate Isabella, and I hate her too. If we join forces, we can send her to hell." I thought for a moment and said, "I don't believe you." She grew impatient. "Why don't you believe me? Do you think I want to follow Isabella? Do you know what she did to me? You have no idea how cruel she is to the people around her. I've hated her for years. I'd rather see her torn to pieces." I stayed calm and said, "I think you hate her, and I think you have the power to make her suffer. I don't believe what you're saying. That's why I won't join forces with you." Olivia glared at me for a long time, then snorted and walked away. To be honest, I thought about it for a second. I really wanted to agree to her proposal. I really wanted to see Isabella get sent to hell by the person she trusted most. But I didn't give in. If Isabella was a proud tiger, then Olivia was a cunning snake. If I joined forces with her, she would eventually betray me. Another week passed, and I heard that Olivia and Isabella had made up again and were inseparable. At this point, I didn't really care about their situation. My life had a new focus, my studies. My grades got better every day. In the latest monthly exam, I ranked second in the class and among the top 20 in the school. My relationships with my classmates also improved. To be honest, I had changed my mind. I was no longer obsessed with getting revenge. All I wanted now was to live my own life, study hard, get into a good university, and change my destiny. At that moment, I heard some shocking news. Isabella's father had been accused of not paying his taxes and being involved in organized crime. He had even been arrested by the FBI. Her family's construction company was closed, and her mother took the family's money and left with her lover. Overnight, she went from being a great person to being a terrible person. Isabella was very upset and dropped out of school. I thought she deserved what she got. I never thought I would see Isabella again. On the way home from school, she suddenly rushed out, holding a knife, blocking my path. "It's all your fault," she screamed, hysterical. "Ava, it's all your fault. You ruined my life. If it weren't for you. She charged at me with the knife, but I dodged her. I raised my hand and slapped her across the face. She fell heavily to the ground. I took the knife from her hands, bent it hard, and twisted the blade into a U-shape. Isabella's eyes shifted from looking angry to looking scared as she looked at me. I told Isabella, You're in this situation because of the things you did. What does that have to do with me? She glared at me angrily. Not you? You dare say you didn't report my father? I laughed and said, I don't even know your dad. How could I report him? Isabella, think about what you're saying. Who did you tell about the things your father did? Who had the chance to get proof of your father's tax evasion? It must have been someone close to you, right? Isabella stopped talking, as if she was trying to think. After a moment, she suddenly looked up and said, Olivia, it can't be. She then added, I was so good to her. She wouldn't hurt me. Don't try to create division between us. I took out my phone, found the recording I had secretly made earlier, and pressed play. Olivia's voice said, Do you think I wanted to follow Isabella? Do you know what she did to me? You have no idea how cruel she is to the people around her. I've hated her for years. I wish I could destroy her. I saw Isabella's expression change a lot, from shock to anger, and then to intense hatred. I said, You get what you deserve. Isabella, now you know who ruined you, don't you? Olivia, she said slowly, one word at a time. She got up from the ground and walked away, looking confused and disoriented. A few days later, I heard that Olivia had been stabbed with a knife on her way home from school and was in the hospital. She survived, but was left with a lifelong disability. She also had to stop going to school. The school organized a donation drive for her, but I didn't contribute. The person who stabbed her was Isabella. Isabella was arrested soon after, and because she was already an adult, she was sentenced to prison. By this point, everyone who had bullied me had gotten what they deserved. I focused on my studies and eventually got into my dream university. It seems the gods forgot to take back their gift, as my strength remains astonishingly powerful. To make the most of this great gift, after graduation, I chose to become a police officer, using my strength to fight crime. If the gods knew, they would be happy.